Welcome back, everyone. This is still the LXP morning flight, and today, Thursday, the 4th of November, 2021, we are with immensely profound, very knowledgeable guest in the studio, and he's going to be taking us through immigrant education. This is something that is so important. If you ask many parents who have had children schooling abroad, or you have sisters and brothers who have schooled abroad, when I say abroad, as long as you have crossed a river to the school, that is abroad, there is some sort of challenge, or there is some sort of story that each and every one of them had to tell. And we have someone in the studio. Please, everyone, join us to welcome Dr. Ennis Olorunipa. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you're not talking to us about our bodies and our communication and our, you know how you do, like the doctoral things today. Today we're getting firsthand. First of all, you're a doctor, you schooled, doctor of what, please?
Medicine.
Doctor of medicine. Wow. You schooled in what university?
Actually, 2 universities.
Okay. Tell us.
Because of the part of what I'm discussing. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
I was enjoying the show before I came on set. Yeah, so in my 3rd year, you know, I was schooling in Ukraine, in the eastern part. Then war broke out.
Wow.
Between Ukraine and Russia.
Okay.
And then at this point, we had to all relocate and transfer to other universities. That was a shocker. Actually, I got shot at. It was, thank God for the word.
Is this the beginning of the story?
Yeah, I think I should start this way.
Wow, what's the...
Yeah, so we had to relocate and transfer from the city to a different school.
Why did you choose Ukraine, first of all, to school?
Yeah. I think the first thing, you know, many people want to get a good education.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the Nigerian context, it's always a challenge.
Right.
That with admissions, you know, with strike, very important.
Very.
Yes, facility, the equipment. And considering medicine is highly competitive. So for me, I got a good result from, WAEC, put in for medical school. I got a different course. I was given a different course, even though I met all the requirements. Wow. Tried a second time.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah. And then I was just so determined, to study medicine. And then Ukraine came on board. Now, when you think about Ukraine, for example, you're thinking about affordability and also getting the value for your money. So if you can afford a private university in Nigeria, you can obviously, afford sending a child to Ukraine. So for me, it was affordable and it could give me what I wanted, which was medicine.
Okay.
So that was the motivation to go for it. Okay. Now, getting into Ukraine had very high expectations.
Right.
Really, really high. I'll never forget, when I got in, let me start with from the airport, I had shopped in Nigeria, got jackets, boots. I thought I was ready for the cold. And then as I got out from the plane, I ran back inside. Yes, it was negative 15 degrees.
Wow.
That day. So that was the first surprise, like welcome to Ukraine.
Culture shock.
And then I was thinking, yes, culture shock. I was thinking, home is many hours away. I traveled over, it was the whole day, because I had transit flights, but it took me over 13 hours to get to Ukraine. So I started thinking, I can't even think of going back right now. I knew how long it took me to get here. Then I had to travel by train for another 18 hours.
Wow.
To get to my city.
School.
Yeah, so that was my first time on the train. Everything was new. And I was saying,
how old were you then?
I was maybe 18.
Wow.
Oh.
Really?
Yes. And at this time, I was thinking, somehow I just felt everyone outside Nigeria spoke English. Somehow, just in my mind at that time. So when I tried to ask questions, and then I heard some funny language, I thought, where am I? Can't they speak English? No one could speak English. So I got on the train. It was just all by myself. I was just thinking, I said, my mom now be worried and thinking, where is this child? I got into my own city where I was to study. Then I got settled in. But something happened again because how, the idea we have from Nigeria is always when you travel outside the country, it's always better in every area, every aspect, but it's not so. When I got into my accommodation, it was worse than my accommodation in Nigerian university.
Wow. Okay.
So I thought, where am I? So what happened was, at that time I covered it up. I didn't want my mom to know because she was excited I traveled. How do I tell her where I am is worse than where I'm coming from? But I somehow just settled in. Throughout my first year, I was sleeping with winter jackets on the bed, head warmer, hand glove. I bought ketchup for tomato paste.
Oh.
I bought a big bucket, and then I got to the hostel, I made it, and I was tasting sugar. I said, didn't I buy tomato paste? But it was ketchup. So lots of mistakes that I made because I didn't know the language. So I said I was going to learn the language.
That means, Doc, it means that if you are going into a place, in order to settle first, you need to be able to know, that means you have to be able to know the weather.
Yes.
Understand the weather.
Yes.
Understand how the place, the climate of the place,
Right.
the time and everything. Then also prepare yourself to learn the language.
Yes.
Because it
Very
goes,
important.
it goes another
Absolutely.
aspect, Because
Yes.
like you just told us about these basic steps.
Exactly.
And so with the language now, you can now
Yes,
penetrate.
it will help you to settle in.
Okay.
And then, in some countries you have this ideology of sometimes there's racism sometimes. I experienced a bit when I got in, but over time things changed. So first you need to do your own research before you get in. Then ask people who are there. Because you can find something online, but it's completely different, when you get in there.
Right.
So ask those who will give you genuine information. And then that will help you about 50% because you can at least prevent some things, prepare in a certain way, get your mind ready. So the shock is minimized. Another thing that is very important is when you get into a new place, you have to understand what do they like, what don't they like. Okay. For instance,
Story.
in Ukraine, when you want to, like the way I grew up, we're raised to be very helpful to adults. So if I see an elderly person, I want to help with the bag, can I assist? In Ukraine, it could be misinterpreted.
Oh.
Something happened one day, so when the boss, and then this old woman, her coin fell, and this foreign student was going to pick the coin for her, and a slap landed on his back. She thought he wanted to take her money.
So we don't need help?
No. You have to be, first, most likely they will turn you down when you're asked to help. But if at all you have to ensure you get permission to help. So it's not like, in Nigeria we appreciate helping. No. They want to do it by themselves.
So you have to ask,
yes.
Can I help you pick it?
Yes. But in fact, the reason, that's even for foreigners. Their own people would not even bother. It was in Ukraine, I saw people fighting and then people just walking past. Nobody cares.
Is this just one part of Ukraine or literally?
No, this is general. This is their orientation.
Where you saw all this
Oh,
happen.
yes. But this is the orientation. So you need to know the people. How do they reason?
They are strictly mind your business kind of people.
Mind your business. You can't go to the neighbors, you can't even go knock the door, ask for anything. So understand their culture. Where are they coming from?
Okay.
Because your own goodwill could be misunderstood for something else. So there are lots of challenges. Finance. When I was getting to Ukraine, I thought I could work and study. So you need to get accurate information.
Okay.
I met lots of people who came in and they thought they could work and study. Many of them are still stranded till today.
Wow.
Yes, some found a way around it. Some came to play football because some guy promised them football and all of that. So I got in, I thought I could work. So imagine knowing I couldn't work. It's destabilized me a
So you can't work
little.
in Ukraine.
So initially, and that's part of what I'm saying. When you get into a country, like I said, how those
But
should meet.
online, it shows that you could work and school.
So it has changed.
Okay.
And it was part of what we did. We prayed. We sowed seeds into Ukraine. We shared Rhapsody. It has to change. It has to change. And then things began to change from letting people study, teach English language. That was the first point of call. Things began to change. Then some companies started opening up. Some foreign companies came into Ukraine, accepting students. So all of this began to open up for students. Then you now have the good jobs and the bad ones.
Okay.
So that now comes to principles. Because when I was getting to Ukraine, from Nigeria, the agent, that's another part of it. Before you get into a country, you need to know if they use agents or you can get in directly.
Oh.
Because many people get duped even before they leave the country.
Yes.
Yeah, by the wrong people. So when I was getting into Ukraine, the agent then told me, when you get into Ukraine, you will do either of three things: smoke, drink alcohol, or womanize. So I asked him, I said, is there at least one person? Is there at least one person who doesn't do any of this? He said, just for me, just a few people. I said, if there is one, I'll be the second person.
Right.
And if there is none, I'll be the first.
You bet.
So I was prepared, I had principles ready before leaving the country. That is so important. I knew when I get to Ukraine, I would identify church immediately. Because when you get in there and you don't associate with church immediately, then some other influences start coming in. But when you say I'm a church guy, even when the wrong ideas come to your mind, they already know me as a church person.
So there's no time for you to explore
exactly.
such options.
And then when you get in, you're thinking, when I got into, I spoke about church again, that's so important. Because again, the most genuine people. They had also told me, you're taking this church thing too seriously. They sent you to come and study, just calm down and face your studies. But I thank God because I actually met pastor when I got to Ukraine. My very first week in Ukraine, I went to Christ Embassy. So, because after 4 years, 6 years, whatever course you're studying, the certificate is, you get a certificate, but that's all. And those years, your university years, they are the most important in your life. Those you meet in those few years.
Yes, network.
Exactly. That's how you meet the most important people in your life. And thank God I did. So I found myself in the midst of people who were really interested in my growth.
Like mine.
Exactly. So in that time, I got to learn many more things. Food. When I got to Ukraine,
Sugar.
It took me a very long time because all I was saying was salads, carrots.
I'm sure they still had sugar.
No, but see, there are important points you've raised, and this cuts across different countries.
Yes,
because
it does.
whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Canada, whether it's America, whether it's Britain, your child or your brother is going to school, you will need to do this. You will need to go through this same process of research before you allow your word to go. You will need to know the weather. You will need to know that when they enter the first 1 month, where are they going to stay? Who are they going to meet? Just in case you're planning to take your exams now, you're planning, okay, by January, February, I'm out of the country. These are the things you should take note. Because if you didn't align with church in the first few weeks of your being in Ukraine, your story could have been different today.
Absolutely.
I know that for sure because I've been there, even in our school in Nigeria. If you are not in the fellowship from the first year, there are many things, there are many troubles you will enter.
Yes.
We have that. Now you talked about agents. Guys, before we go on, feel free to call Dr. Ennis now. You can call in because he's actually more of a speaker on this kind of issues. You can call in the numbers now and talk about this, what we're talking about, immigrants and immigrant education, the issues and the solutions. All right, you can call in, the numbers will show on your screen now. You talked about agents. Now, this is one serious point that we must address. How do you get good agents when you want someone to school abroad? Like, so people say, okay, go through schools. There are some schools that organize the exams and they put their children there. And they have agents that help the schools as well, which some have actually turned out to be cheats. So how do you identify the real ones that will not just take your money and leave the child abroad to suffer for a while before they get themselves?
So the first thing is do a thorough research. To know if the school even works with agents. There are many schools around the world that they allow you, interact with them directly. So if you don't have to work with an agent or go through any intermediary, do it directly, do it yourself.
Fantastic.
Secondly, don't be desperate. Because once you're desperate, you already have a higher percentage of falling into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
So if you're not desperate, you can take your time. Then someone makes promises, I have done it, I have done it. Thank God for social media. In Ukraine,
the recipients of what you've done.
yes, many people send me messages directly. I mean, I don't even know them. Probably found me online, and they're asking questions. And most times, the answers I give them really help them a lot. So someone makes promises to you.
Yeah.
You are knowledgeable. You are not ignorant. We're in an internet age. Get online. Chat with people who are actually in the school. You can see them post, you can use hashtags to find them. You can go on different groups on different platforms and confirm what they are saying.
Okay.
Because there are those who post, they send you pictures, offices that don't even exist. You see, because taking students abroad is good business for many people. They know many people want to leave the country. So you have to be very careful. Don't be desperate. And once you're not desperate, and more importantly, have the guidance of the Holy Spirit, you will not make any mistakes. You will meet the right people.
Yeah, so looking at immigrants, especially students that go to these countries to study, one thing that we've seen is that when you get there, after school, most of them don't want to leave. It's true, they don't want to, they understand the place, they've seen the place is nice. I can just continue my life here, so what would you say to those kind of people?
Is that okay?
Is it okay? I mean,
Yeah,
does it have implications?
Very true.
Okay, so the main reason people don't want to leave most of the time is opportunities. If I compare Nigeria with Ukraine, the only difference, so opportunities, not even opportunities, is the conducive environment for work.
Okay.
So even if you don't have a job, like working with a company, you can create because there's good internet, electricity, housing is good environment. So all of these things, when you consider them, for internet, you pay, let's say, maybe 5,000 naira, for example. And that's another thing, the currency. You need to know the currency. How do you receive money when you get there? That's very important. What bank accounts you need to open from here before you travel, and all of that. Okay, so if you don't have all of these things, so I'm thinking about being in Ukraine, and then you have internet access. You can start your YouTube channel. You can create content. You now compare it with Nigeria, where you have to pay heavily for internet connection, which is not even stable, pay heavily for power and all of that. So some of these things are what people look at in choosing to stay back or even move somewhere else. So it is good for the right reasons. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But if you're able to, because I had people who left, who traveled, they came to Nigeria, and that was the beginning of struggle. It was a mistake. They wish they never left.
So what about the policy? Because sometimes you hear this thing, they tell you that if you travel, you have to come back at a particular time. If you don't get access back to that country anymore.
Yes, so depending on how you got in and what kind of visa you're on. Yes.
Okay.
So there are those who, for instance, in Ukraine, something changed some years ago where after your first degree, you must return to your country to get a new visa if you want to extend your stay. Previously, you could just change it after school and, but
I think
it
it's
changed.
the same with Malaysia.
Yeah, so some of these policies actually could affect students. But the thing is that, like I said, because you're in a foreign country, and that's another thing about knowing their laws.
You must know the laws.
You must know the laws.
Because you might just be doing something that you think is okay, and it's very wrong. For instance, there's some very good things I've learned from Ukraine, very good things. One that I actually talk about a lot is the culture of respecting women. And I think it's actually common in many countries. If you are on the bus and a lady comes in, you stand up.
Hey.
It's like, and I think it's a very good culture.
Wow.
Yes. So
Any woman,
young,
Paul, please take me.
But I always do.
No, you don't stand up when I walk in.
Right. No, so now.
All the cameramen, are you people learning?
So then orderliness. In Ukraine, I learned orderliness. you get to the bus station, people are just patiently waiting for their turn. You get to the bank, there's a queue, you wait. And, you know, when one day I got to the market stand, I was in Ukraine, and then I asked for the price of something, and she told me the price. So let's say maybe 1,000 naira. And then I said, can I pay 400? The shock, you know, because, you know, in Nigeria, you're thinking, yes, because
okay, this is okay. I take pause. See,
It's
okay,
called
over here,
negotiation.
over here, we call it. It is the power of negotiation.
Yes.
What our mothers would do. My mom had
for that
PhD.
1,000, you start from 50
Yeah.
naira. That is what
They call it price. So you went there.
Yes.
Okay, you forgot.
no, I didn't even. I thought
it's negotiation.
Yes.
Now.
In Nigeria, the seller will say, "Na money is money."
because you know in Nigeria, most likely the seller, let's say the selling price ideally should be 800. He could start from 5,000.
True.
And just try his own, you know, probably you will fall for it,
Yeah.
and then you can say and buy for 3,000.
Yeah.
So, but in Ukraine, if it's 1,000 naira,
It is
they'll sell it maybe 1,005, just minimal profit. So when you come and you try to bargain, like it's a shock to them. So I was wondering, why are they shocked? Like, I'm just bargaining. so
Allow me, let me.
so I had to, so I understood, oh, okay, these people are
They're
not
not
like this.
Oh, okay. So in this one now, you know, sometimes some persons you say, okay, now what would be your advice if someone wants to go, you know, as an immigrant, wants to go to another country to study? You know, sometimes the persons are saying that should we look at, what are the aspects we should look at? Am I going to go and do a course that will make me, just in case I want to stay, I can get a job easily over there? Because some persons are wondering, okay, I want to study, I want to do this one. What should help me in my choice of the course of study?
Yeah.
You know, when I'm going, is it because I want to go and come back and get a better job here in the country where I reside, or get a better job over there?
I think that's a very important question, because I've had many medical students tell me if they knew, they wouldn't study medicine. Yes. Because when you finish medicine as a medical doctor, you graduate from school, your journey has just begun. It doesn't matter where you want to practice, in that country or any other
somewhere else.
country. But of course, if it's a good country, it's better because once you're done with school, you can start working. You have to write exams.
Yeah.
And those exams are expensive. So if you're not able to, I mean, you know, once you're done with school, your parents tell you, okay, bye, thank you, we're done. So if you're not prepared for the challenges after school, you might find yourself being stuck.
Wow.
So in making your choice, you need to, and actually I have, sometimes I have this career coaching for people who want to get into like high school to help them see these kind of things so that you can project, what is my plan after school?
Yeah.
This country, does it have opportunities for me? Or if you're planning to return to your home country, are there opportunities? Because just know that, and that's why I also advise some people that before you're done with school, start saving.
Right.
Start saving for the life after school. You see, it's a good way to plan. But again, more importantly, is the leading of the Holy Spirit. When I was in Ukraine, for my first year that was in 2010, the Holy Spirit told me very clearly, after graduation, remain in Ukraine. So when people were trying to figure out what to do towards the end of the study, I already knew I was to stay in Ukraine because that was his direction. Because sometimes you have all of these plans. Imagine you plan to get a job somewhere, and think about what happened to me, you know, like in Ukraine, the war.
Yeah, wait first, before you tell us, because that's gist you have owing us. It's from the moment you said it, my ears been ting, ting, ting. So you will tell us a story of what happened, and then you give us an insight into security, because I noticed that a lot of our students abroad have such issues. You hear
Yeah.
somebody was schooling in Dubai, he was shot.
Yeah.
You hear somebody was schooling somewhere and then he was attacked.
Yeah.
How do you handle and comport yourself to be security conscious in another man's country?
Yeah. So the first thing is know your environment. Because sometimes you can get accommodation in the wrong place.
Oh.
Know the people around you, know your so ask questions.
Yeah.
Just don't barge into making decisions.
Because place is fine.
Yeah,
also.
because it's nice. Ask questions. The next thing is you need to know, because take for example, in Ukraine, there was something that happened some years ago.
Okay.
Every, I think probably July, they had this group of people. I think in Nigeria they have some of those things too. They go out looking for foreigners to attack them.
Right.
They call them, I think, skinheads or so.
Wow.
So the very first year I was in Ukraine, I didn't know about it. So that period, foreigners don't go out. I knew people who were victims of those guys.
Wow.
So you need to know, imagine you're in a new country because there are no parents there, nobody's watching. And then the very first week you start going out at night, you're looking for the next club, you see all those kind of, that's why I see your lifestyle, all of those things. That's why I said being
back
in the
to
right
principle.
company, yes, the
Yes.
right people,
Yeah.
they will help you. Because some people actually just, they fall victims stupidly.
Wow.
Because, like, just to just chip in, the Bible saying the multitude of counsel their
Yes,
safety.
there is safety. There are those who, I mean, imagine in summer, then because now you're abroad, they want to travel to the sea, you can't swim. Almost every year in Ukraine, a foreign student gets drowned. Almost every year. It happens again and again.
Even in Nigeria.
So,
Go to beach. those
yeah,
people.
so you want to explore, but you have to be wise. You see, you have to be wise. You have to, curtail your excesses. You see, your desires. You have to put them in check. So sometimes,
Focus on the main
so
thing.
sometimes it is those avoidable mistakes. Sometimes it is just like what you have in every other country, where probably the police is just crazy. You have those guys. There are some people who tell us, you came to take our
You get to enjoy
you
part
came-
of our education.
right.
yes,
our-
you came to,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering, what did we take?
I'm
We are
paying-
giving you
we're
a
giving
pain.
you money.
And,
Yes.
and over there, you tend to go out with your ID card more, unlike here in Nigeria where you can
Yes, yes.
take a stroll.
But then it's hard to
So you
work
can't
actually.
identify.
Tell us that.
Oh dear. So, just thinking about it, witnessing war firsthand. This is not hearsay. So it started like a joke. We heard on the news there was Russian agitation towards Ukraine. We heard they were trying to take over some part of the sea and all of that. Before we knew it, one day, siren went off. So we have this city alarm.
Okay.
So when it goes off, the whole city, anywhere you are, you hear it. We started running, what is going on? Next thing we heard, boom, there was this, so it was an attack, the first bomb attack. What's happening? So schools started closing down, and the funny thing is that several countries started sending, embassies were sending planes to evacuate
Oh my
their
goodness.
students. And our beloved country, people were waiting. This country left. And people actually went to the embassy to, since there was no contact from the embassy, they went to,
Nigerian embassy.
Nigerian embassy, and they said, did we pay your fees to come here? Did we send you here? So people had to find their way. And I happened to be one of the last people that left because it affected two major cities. I was in the hottest city, and I was among the last people that left that city. So, because I was just there waiting. Now, it was summer, so I had plans for summer, for church and all of that. So I was just waiting and just praying, hoping that things would change. Then one day, so while you're sleeping,
You could just hear blast.
and then the whole building, it would sound like it was your building, but probably somewhere a little far, people were being killed. So the day I was leaving, I had sent my roommate to go out, because now at this time, think about it, no internet was working, phone lines were down, ATM were not working, all blown up, so no taxi, no stores were opened, Just imagine.
But what I used to do, okay, continue.
So I sent my roommate to try to stop a car, any car going towards the train station, so we could just, leave. So while he was there, he got stopped by these aggressors who had invaded the city. It was like an external army that had invaded the city. So they had taken over the government buildings. So we were kept hostage in the city. Now, I didn't even know at that time that in their mind, any foreigner was a spy. So they thought like we're American spies. So he was stopped. And then so the guy put the gun on his head and said he will count 10. So he asked him for his international passport. And my roommate, at that time, his stay had expired. And he couldn't extend it because of the war. So he didn't have a passport, a valid passport. So he was counting. So he now called me on the phone and said he's counting. So I could hear him count, Adin, Dva, 3. So I had my old passport and my new passport. So I said, Holy Spirit, I'm going out. He will see my face on one and see his face on the other. So I took the 2. I was running because I could hear I was on the phone. So I was running. So when I saw them, I was running, I have it. So this guy just pointed the gun to me and shot. But at this point, because, the word that Pastor has taught us, you don't know how important it is until the day of trouble. I had been meditating on the ministry of angels before that time. I'd been meditating, hearing Pastor's messages. So I said, what will my angels be doing? Because there's bomb like left, right, and center. So you have to have a different consciousness in that atmosphere, or else you fall victim. So I was just meditating, taking out fear. So I said, Lord, I'm going out. My angels are with me. I was running towards the guy. So he shot. I didn't even realize what happened. So I just got there, and then I showed him the passport. So he took the first one. Okay, so the guy, okay. Second one, okay, you, and told us to leave. So as we stood up, he now turned back at me and then pointed the gun again a second time at me. So his friend said, like, they have shown you the passport. Apparently he was drunk. So he got into the car and still pointed again. Then they just convinced him and they drove off. Apparently, as he shot, the bullet just landed right in front of me. About an hour after then, that same guy shot another foreigner on the same spot.
Oh my goodness.
Caballo,
I
had left already.
I can't believe you're telling me that the time is up.
Jesus.
Okay, guys, this is the summary of what this is the summary of what we've brought to you today. Apart from all the action movies we kind of relived through Dr. Ennis's experience schooling in Ukraine, when you want to school abroad, do adequate, profound research on the country you're going to. Language, you need to take language courses before you even travel. You will need to know how to send money and receive money. You will need to know not just know from the internet what the people are about. You will need to know from people that are living there how they react to our culture and the things that are that you're most concerned about. And last but not the least lesson, when you have someone going abroad, please identify with church. It's beyond good manners and principles and values. It's safety for you. Identify with the church, identify with the Believers Loveworld Fellowship in that country. Your child or your word will be safe throughout their school stay. We have to go now. I'm so excited.
I want to add something that in the last few months, I began to find out some agencies, credible agencies. So in case they need to get linked up with a credible agency, for Ukraine, I can guarantee I have people. Other countries too, I'm beginning to find out some people that could help them. So they can reach out and then I can link them up.
Right after the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back here bright and early tomorrow morning. God bless you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.